been an interesting couple of weeks in rollerblading. We've had people skating trees and trails down Finley Falls in Canada, numerous people skating an abandoned school in Japan, skaters doing a bit of modelling, new pro models that people say remind them of Super Soakers, and others that remind them of Saved by the Bell. Rollerblading's found itself in the NY Times again, and Big Bird wants you to get involved.
I'm the biggest bird, I'm the biggest bird.
Right, let's get into it. All the stunts are performed by professionals. Do not attempt this yourself. Bernal loves a hammer. He was dropping stunts all over that USD tour video, and he's had some heavy sections in the past few years. He's had a couple of pro model carbon threes in classic white and black, but this time it seems like he's closed his eyes, hit that random colour generator on the skate creator, and he's come up with this, which I did not see coming. It's a bit of a jarring colourway which seems to have divided opinion. It's got people asking if it's the Goosebumps edition,
I get a goosebump every time,
or the ultimate gross science kit, but there are people who are loving it as well. He's also got red pro wheels. Can you imagine those on that thing? That would be a loud setup. That is Brian Blessed loud.
Blood, black, beyond butter.
Personally, I'd stick a black sole plate on the thing, but fair play to him for doing something completely different from his last two skates. It's definitely got people talking about it, hasn't it? And the holographic liner, I'm really interested to see a bit more of that, man. I would have stuck a 3D magic eye picture on the back of the thing, try and work out the secret message. A few people mentioned the price point was a little bit steep for a sway. I guess that's normally seen as like a decent price point compared to other models, but you know, I think that's just a reflection of the time. It still is cheaper than a Pro Aeon, a Pro Them, or a Pro Mesmer, and hopefully he's getting a decent cut out of the money, and USD aren't mugging themselves off. USD have also dropped their 2023 White Aeon featuring a new buckle designed by matey boy Umberto Di Trio from Icon. Cool to see them making minor adjustments. It's meant to be more resistance to knocks and bangs. Are people into that? I feel a bit sorry for that James Drive who'd worked ages on his buckles, giving it the big end about how good they were going to be, and then as soon as they came out they were just snapping on people. Even when people were actually just screwing them to their skates, they were falling apart. Hopefully you can come back from the thing, man. There's Velcro straps now. I've used masking tape in the past and that worked out really well. Just get some of that muzzy tape and get them typed up, get yourself secure in the skates. I'd even go for one of those little door latches or a padlock on the thing. Putting a name on the product though feels a little bit like primary school when you're your parents show your name into your PE kit or your school jumper in case you lose it. Not sure I really want that on my skates. If you're into the videos, you can really help me out by giving us a like. There's also merch. The Spotted Dog Boned Out tee is now available in white. I've also got a Patreon, and there's YouTube channel membership, exclusive Discord, exclusive videos, that kind of thing. Much appreciated. Cheers. So after some tactical teasers and some straight up leaks, the highly talked about Bacethem Skates 909 is finally here. Designed by Sean, Colin, Julio and Mike McMullen. It comes in bubble mint pink, which is kind of like a light dusty pastel pink. The shade does remind me a little bit of blancmange, which I guess is like a 90s dessert, wasn't it? And they have gone full 90s Saved by the Bell on the Intuition liner, which is similar to the pattern they use in Quick Draw, which is a really cool nod. It kind of reminds me of those TV test cards, you know, when they're trying to calibrate the colours in the picture and stuff like that. Or those mad Trapper Keeper wallet binder things from the 90s. They are going to be tagged every time that pattern appears places now. I bet you Bernal thought he had the liner game wrapped up with that holographic 2-pack at Coachella liner that he had going, and then they dropped this. It's got colour accents on the buckle and cuff bolts, a Bacethem frame with a load of colourful wheels. It's also going to be available in all the new sizes like schmedium. Now there is a lot going on with this skate and it could have easily come out totally heinous, but the execution's really, really good. And I think what's really clever about it is that everybody is going to want parts of this to customize their skates. Even if you don't want the whole skate, people are going to see that liner and be like, yeah, I want to stick that in my Danny Beers, or yeah, do you know what, I fancy a pink cuff, or the different color wheels, or maybe I want all the yellow ones, maybe I want all the pink ones. It's going to be great for customizations, and Sean Kelso is already onto it and already posted up a few things you can do with it. And when the things come out, you're going to see loads of people posting their different setups, so just more and more marketing. The edit is as mad as the liners. It's a complete mind melter. This has got to be the most NBDs in one edit. Sean and Colin's skating always manages to exceed expectation. Perfect. They push the boundaries with their creativity, technical ability, style and innovation. Often, when a new trick or style emerges, there's some sort of hesitancy to adopt it. But when the Bacemint boys do it, it's done with such conviction and purpose, and done at such a high level of execution, you're convinced this is the thing to be doing. It feels like something that should have always been a part of skating. For them to be at the forefront of skating for so long and still find new avenues, not only to keep themselves motivated, but to inspire the whole of rollerblading, is astonishing. I feel like I'm meant to be presenting an award after that speech. Beyond the actual tricks, the production is top shelf. The music and editing is spot on, landing on beats, swivels on record scratches. It all adds to the video and they deliver the full package. What a time to be a rollerblader. There is a whole kaleidoscope of colour options out there, but you still get people going, what's new about these here? Like, where's the new models? First off, in this case, new shell sizes, but also, has there been another time in rollerblading where there's been more boot options and colourways? I'm not sure there has. These are going to set you back 500 bones. I mean, there are 2 of them, so maybe they've upped it so they can get some decent royalties. They did go in on the Intuition liner, and there is 4 different colour wheels, so maybe that's played into it. There are payment plans available, so there are options for you to be able to get them. Maybe just quit smoking bogeys for half a year and you'll be fine. Sean also recently won Last Try 3 in Philly, so he must be chuffed at the moment. And Amber Rivera won it for the women's. Sticking with them in the Mesmer lot, they found themselves in a New York Times article. There was actually an article last October, Inline Skating is Back Again, which was about rollerblading in general. And now at more skate parks, an aggressive takeover, which looks more specifically at aggressive inline skating. There's a very brief look at the history of skating, then it covers what's happening these days, talking to Jon Julio about them and the Blading Cup, collaborations with Clarks and Braindead, chatting to people like Kayla and Broskow. The piece is also complemented with some really great pics in there. Coda Holt looking like he's eyeing up a crispy jacket potato man, licking his lips. They've done Jimmy Cobran a little bit dirty, cutting his head out of the pic. And look at the fit on this skateboarder, man, like skinny joggers, the cruiser board, and a backwards fitted cap, like fraternity bro border. Definitely loiters around bars late at night looking for inebriated girls that look like Avril Lavigne with dirty Converse on. Really cool to see Mesmer up and comer Sebastian Castro get a pick in there as well. My favourite line though is a style heavy on tricks and stunts, like grinding curbs, skidding on railings and spinning along half pipes. Skidding, that's the new one. I guess it's fairly accurate, a couple of topside skids on this kink trail, but spinning along a half pipe. What do they think we are, like Beyblades, just getting ripped into the things? The article gives a fairly good portrayal of rollerblading, and there was some positive comments to go with it. There was a few moany comments as well, and some funny ones in there. Destroying public property, endangering pedestrians, terrorising the elderly and infirm sounds like good, clean fun. Terrorising the infirm. Sorry, what do you think we're doing? Creeping up behind people, going boom, and shoving them in bushes. That's actually the #1 problem for rollerbladers. Get into a skate spot and there's just a gaggle of elderly people there, mate. Do you know what infirm people really love? Stairs, mate. God, get me to some stairs. I can barely move, but get me to them stairs. What are you actually talking about? Utter bollocks. The problem with inline skating is that everyone looks like a total nerd doing it because of the mechanics of it require ape-like arm and leg movements. It was true in the 90s and it's true today. Skating can easily look goofy, but I don't know how many people I've seen go skating around doing the ape arms. What are you talking about? If somebody's doing that, you're really letting the side down. But then also, depending on what your beliefs are, apes and humans have both evolved from a common ancestor, so of course there's going to be ape-like movements, probably ape-like movements when you walk down the street. The media coverage didn't stop there for Jon. He's got himself and his kids in a Mitchell and Ness ad campaign. That's going to be the next collaboration. He's covered basketball, American football, baseball, ice hockey with the Mighty Ducks, the NY Times, the Clarks collaboration, which is now in the hard copy book, coffee beans. Surely there's going to be some Them Skates red wine. He'll be calling out people from the UFC next as well for a scrap. Julio is the face of rollerblading by miles. Andy's still got it. Fakey looking over the stinky shoulder, Grab torque to budget tot Sonny, slapped it down like a whack-a-mole or like he was holding a royal flush, like Barry Scott. Bang! And top is on. Talking of reaching outside markets, one of Sven's reels has had over 4 million views. It's a little bit of a shame it's been edited so he looks like a robot and you can't really see him skating. But that is a lot of eyes coming to his page. It's interesting what grabs people's attention. Like 7 years ago, Powerslide and Dustin Werbeski posted up a video doing off-road skating on the North Shore in Vancouver, Canada. It's racked up close to 900,000 views. Like, have you ever considered doing off-road rollerblading? Like, skating down a UK pavement is like misery enough. Like, feels like you're skating on the top of like a multi-seed loaf. I can't imagine shooting myself down a trail, man. That must be a workout. I remember seeing big cats when I was a kid and thinking like, who on earth are these for? Like, who's using these things? Well, it's Dustin, innit? 7 years after that video and he's got himself the first ever pro model off-road SUV inline skate. He is definitely the right man for the job. Like, all his player stats suggest he's the one, and he's got that good off-road pedigree. And the things look like the right bit of kit as well. It comes with 125mm air tiles, which is sick, man. Imagine having to pump your aggressive wheels up mid-session or like getting a flat tyre mid-line, calling the AA for a little bit of roadside assistance. I have no personal experience with off-road skates, but I've heard it's like fairly hard to get the momentum going, but it doesn't seem to cause him any bother at all. And the description says like they're ideal for city streets, exploring unpaved paths, or conquering challenging terrains, which sounds like they'd work absolutely anywhere. Dustin is tearing up the trails around Findlay Falls without any trouble at all, and the design looks great. But I think there's only going to be a small market for the skates, and you're going to want to live in near some hills or some trails to get like full use out of the things. Remember when you as a kid sitting in school or college, like bored off your block, you ever used to daydream about grinding your teacher's desk or the rail that was out in the schoolyard? Well, that's kind of what they've done in Japan. The Anaka High School was left abandoned, so the likes of Takeshi Yasutoko, Shintaro Nakayama, Ichi and Thomas took full advantage of the thing, flying around the hallways, grinding on the sinks, cess slides on the tables, doing wall rides, jumping down the stairs. It looks like an absolute blast, and they have run riot. There is just something really cool about skating in abandoned buildings. I guess like schools as well, which would normally be quite a like formal situation. What would you go for out of an abandoned school or an abandoned water park? Cudot has won another comp, this time taking first at the Inline Cup, and it seems like spin to win is back. He is like a washing machine set to 1,200 RPMs. That 5kg, 3kg was mad. The position on the second kg was bang on as well. I feel like he was vexed he didn't win Sotti last year, and that's why he's on a rampage this year. And apparently he's got a wild edit on the way as well. Mesmer's new styling, Julia Cudot, took the first place in the women's there. Skate legend and all-around sound guy, Scott Crawford has got a brand new signature frame and wheels. The edit is brilliant, man. It's shot by Don West as well, so you know everything looks beautiful. There is like no slop in this. Scotty's hitting like proper legit top soles on down ledges. He's doing kink trails. He does another kink trail that goes past the spikes of death. It's absolutely superb. I'm still buzzing that he was in Heartbreak High with Jurassic and Bolton. The frames and wheels look absolutely lovely, and the thing has a soundtrack by Scotty, Brooke Howard-Smith and James Reed. Nice one, Scotty, Law and Dom. Farmer can do so many ridiculous tricks and make them look so easy. I sometimes kind of forget how hard they are, but then in every edit there will be a part where I go, oh my god, that was utterly ridiculous. He is so good. I was talking about how Robbie Pitt's Wish frame looks like it was Slimer green, and Farmer's actually released Slimer wheels. It's astonishing to think about how long Farmer has been unbelievable for, and he's still at it. That top neg Mistral on the curvy white Python is unbelievable, man. In his latest evolution, he kind of looks a little bit like a highway patrolman.
Who wants a mustache ride?
Huge thank you to all my Patreons for keeping the dream alive. You can join them for as little as £3 a month, sneak peeks, exclusive videos, that kind of stuff. Here's another couple of videos you can watch in the meantime, and I'll see you again soon. Spotty dog.